Danielle Cherokaya Johnson, a 34-year-old woman from Woodland Hills, Los Angeles. This is a story of how it's better to ruin everybody's life instead of being accountable and atoning for your mistakes. It all began at 3 o'clock in the morning when Cherokaya Johnson was arguing with her boyfriend, her live-in boyfriend, in front of her 2 daughters. But she was still married to another man. She claims she was in the process of getting a divorce, but we'll never know the truth about that. And the paternity of the 2 daughters, we'll never know the truth about that. But let me continue. This is 29-year-old Jalen Chaney. He's a kind, sweet young man who's delusional enough to think that he's going to have a family with a woman who's not yet divorced, who believes that he shouldn't put hands on a woman, shouldn't raise his voice at a woman, and should always show a woman respect. And that logic got him stabbed to death. Because, in the world we live in, women think they're going to get in a man's face, they're going to raise their voice, they're going to put their hands on him, and he's going to be a gentleman and take that. And this man was a gentleman, and he took that, and he took a couple knife wounds, and then he took a fall face first and bled out in a pool of his own blood. The neighbors heard the commotion, and brainwashed by social media and television and movies, they thought he was attacking Danielle, but nah, she stabbed him to death in front of her kids, like excellent mothers do. Stab a man to death in front of your children. That's not gonna traumatize them. Nah, it's not gonna traumatize them. They cool. Children witness murders all the time, right? Wrong. She knew what she did was wrong, so she fled before the police could arrive. And when the police arrived, the police found a bloody scene. The live-in boyfriend was in a pool of his own blood, stabbed to death and not responsive. But Danielle hit the freeway with her 8-year-old and her 8-month-old daughters. And the voices told her that it was time to kick her children out the car. So that's what she did. She kicked her 8-year-old and her 8-month-old out of the vehicle. And the 8-year-old, being the loving, caring sister that she is, clutched the 8-month-old baby and held on as tight as she could. But when you fall out of a Porsche on the 405, you tend to lose your grasp on whatever you're holding in your arms. And she lost her grasp on her 8-month-old sister, and her sister was crushed to death. But the 8-year-old survived. She had some injuries, but she survived. The mother, on the other hand, mother of the year, she sped off in her Porsche, not worrying about what happened to her babies, not worrying about stabbing her live-in boyfriend to death, not worried about leaving the door open so the neighbors could see, not worried about nothing, because it's all about her, right? It's all about her. She sped down the 405, and then the weight of her deeds hit her. She knew that she was going to be charged with 3 counts of murder because she pushed her children out of a moving Porsche on the 405. She stabbed her live-in boyfriend to death, and she don't want to face the consequences because accountability is kryptonite. So she sped into a tree at a high speed and took her own life. Let me tell you the only sad part of this story. Well, there's multiple sad parts, but the saddest part of this story is that people listened to this woman. She was an astrology influencer. People listened to her about their life, their path, what they should do. And based on her Louis Vuitton bag and her luxurious hair, they thought that she was somebody with knowledge to share that could help other people improve their quality of life. But the internet is full of fakes and phonies. People who try so hard to look like they got it all figured out, don't. They say you can judge a tree by its fruit. Well, her fruit is a bunch of dead people and a bunch of ruined lives. She ruined her husband's life by running off with his kids. She ruined her living boyfriend's life by stabbing him to death. She ruined her children's life by kicking them out of a moving Porsche on a 405. She's just a tornado of destruction. But if you look at her social media, she's an influencer and she's a pillar of hope. But how do you guys feel about this? Let me know how you feel.